everyone, it's Happy Mail Queen. Today I'm coming on to address a couple of questions that a few of you had. First of all, the chocolate bar box that I had created, you guys wanted to know the dimensions, and so I'm just going to show you how to go ahead and put this together. And then someone also had a question about the bunny bows, and these are the ones that have the little rabbit ears or the bunnies. And you guys had a question about how to put the inner layers on the ears, because some of them are flopped down this way, the other one is flopped down on the other side, and then these are both flopped down. So these pieces were a little confusing for some of you guys, so I am gonna use the larger bunny bow to show you an example of how I put mine together. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and create this chocolate box. And keep in mind when you are creating your box that you want your pattern to be going this way, vertical. In this case, it's polka dots, so it doesn't matter, there's no direction. But like this box right here, I did it wrong because the XOXO should have been this way, right? It should have been going this way. As you can see, my hearts are sideways, so it should have looked like this. So now my box is, landscape instead of portrait mode, I guess you could say. So anyway, just keep that in mind. So let's get started. So here's my little cheat sheet here. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it out. And first of all, we're going to cut our pattern paper to 6.5 by 7.5 inch. That is what you're working with. So go ahead and get your paper trimmer. Here's mine. Put this aside for a sec. And let's go ahead and trim this at 6.5. by 7.5. Okie doke. Now we can put our trimmer away. You are going to need some scissors and some glue and a bone folder. All right, so on the shorter side, which is the 6.5 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Three inches, 3.5, and 6 inch. Then you want to turn your paper 90 degrees. Okay, and on the 7.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 6.5 inch, and 7 inches. All right, now this is how it should look like. We're going to turn it this way though. That's how your score lines should look. Go ahead and fold it real quick. Okay, so back to the 6.5 inch side, okay? This way. I'm going to bring this over so we can kind of see. Some of you guys are really visual. So on this side, we're going to create a flap here. But first, we're going to cut our slits. So we're going to slit here from this point to the second score line here. So you should have 2 little squares here. Okay, slit there. Go ahead and slit here on the second score line here. Slit on this score line. Okay, and then we're gonna totally remove this whole panel over here. So let's go ahead and remove that panel. Trying to cut straight here. Okay, and it's gonna look like that, just like here. Now, these little squares, we're gonna remove one of the square on the bottom. And we're gonna remove this square at the bottom. And then go ahead and just cut a sliver. Miter the corners a little bit here, so just cut at an angle like so, and do the same thing on this flap. So you're going to have two little tiny flaps which will keep your lid closed. Okay, now on the opposite side, on the opposite diagonal side, you're going to do the same thing, or just turn it this way, and you're going to do the pretty much the same thing. So do your slits. Okay. And this time around, you're going to remove this whole side again. Okay. And then remove your little squares and then miter the corners or the edges here. Remove that square and miter your corners. Okay, so it looks like that. You have two little flaps and the lid part, or the where you open and close it, and then same thing, two little flaps and this part here. And then you just want to make sure this is nice and straight, because then I usually like to round the corners of this. Of this closure part here. Okay, so I'm going to take my crocodile here and punch out the corner. I just want to round the corner. So do that on both sides. Okay, and then you are going to go ahead and glue that together, and as you can see, you'll have your little flaps here, and on the other side you'll have your little flaps there and your closure. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue, and we're going to go ahead and just glue the two flaps together here. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to line that up. Hopefully I'm lined up. And then use your bone folder to just flatten that out, make sure that's nice and adhered. Okay, and then you can just pop this back like so. Guess I didn't put enough glue. Oh, not on that little flap. All right. Okay, so anyway, that's your box. Now, the other question that one of my viewers had was how to do the bunny ears. So let me go ahead and, sorry, I'm just trying to close my box here. Let's just make sure that this closes properly. Sometimes you have to trim the edges a little bit, but there you go. Okay, so that is your cute little box. Then you can decorate it. So to do the bunnies, okay, let's start off with the ears that have both sides floppy, folded over. Go ahead and cut out your pieces. And for this one, you're gonna use these pieces right here. Okay, you might have to cut this one twice. So this is how the ears are. So you have the taller point here because there's this slash going down like so, slope. Okay, keep in mind the one with the top, the higher side here, you have the shorter side here, right? The shorter side is always going to be towards that floppy ear, okay? And the tall part of that slant is always going to go towards the middle of the bunny, okay? I think if you remember that, whoops, if you remember that taller slant, here's your slant, you have this point that's shorter, and then this one that's longer. The longer piece is always going to be towards the middle of the bunny. So that's how it would be. This is how you would glue it together, okay? Now, if we take this one, this one's easy because then this part is pointy up, right? So it'll just be like that. And this part, again, here's your slash part. The higher point right here, that's always going to be towards the middle of your bunny. And the shorter point is always towards the folded floppy ear. And it's hard to see here, but let's see, if we're following this one, well, let me just show you on this because you can kind of see it. You see there's a little point here and a point here. So just imagine a line going here, right? So it looks like you have that illusion that the bunny ear is folded over. See, like that. So if you kind of follow that little notch, it's hard to see because I did it on glitter paper, but if you follow that little notch, it'll follow that imaginary line here. I hope that made sense. Okay, but anyway, if that didn't make sense, then just keep in mind the higher point here. That's always towards the middle of the bunny. I think if you just remember that part, then you'll put this together properly. So here's this one again, okay? This one here is easy. Okay, that higher point always towards the middle of the bunny. Not away from the bunny, but the middle of the bunny. And then you just glue that together. And then to glue this little piece, well, you have to start with this one. I already put the layering piece on the bottom. You just line this up right like that. And then I already put this together, so you would line this area with this top part. And it goes like that. Glued together, and then you just put your bunny tail. And you just glue this all together. All right, guys. Anyway, I hope I was able to answer your questions. And I hope you found this helpful. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.